Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Thomas from Tom's CRM Talk, and today I want to cover the topic Salesforce data structure on a very basic level. So if you just started with Salesforce and you're looking for a Salesforce career like an admin, developer, consultant, architect, the first thing you want to do is to understand the data structure. And no worries, it's very simple, and I will try to explain it well so you get it quickly, right? So let's start with my lovely PowerPoint here, and let's talk about some basics. So Salesforce does organize the data primarily by a relational database model. So what does this mean? So you have the objects. They are like database tables. So you have standard objects like accounts, contacts, opportunities, leads, campaigns, which I like to call the big five. And then you have, or you can of course create custom objects to satisfy the needs of the company you're working with. For example, you could create a custom object called jobs if you're working for a hiring company or recruiting company, let's say, and you want to link, for example, companies with open job positions, right? Then you have fields, and they are like the columns in a table. And here you can create text fields, number fields, date fields, formulas, lookups, whatsoever. And then you have records. So you can store actually information in the fields on an object, and these informations will then be the records. For example, an account, a company information, or a contact, or an opportunity. And last but not least, you can link these objects and tables with each other by lookup relationships or master detail relationships. I will deep dive into relationships in one of my next upcoming videos. So don't worry about this if you are not familiar with relationships right now. So when people explain Salesforce data structure, like I currently try, they usually come up with the example or picture of an Excel spreadsheet, and that's actually not that wrong. It's pretty similar like an Excel spreadsheet, right? It does not mean that Salesforce is just an Excel tool with some advanced functionality. No, but I think it really explains very well the data structure. So as an Excel, you have tabs here: accounts, contacts, opportunities, which could be your objects in Salesforce. Here I have my custom object, jobs. On these tabs, you have your columns, and these could be the fields in Salesforce, right? So you have an account name, an account number, owner, phone type, whatsoever. And then on these tabs, within these columns, you can store records. For example, here I would have my account record Dickinson PLC with the account number CC634267, and so on and so on. In Excel, you can link records with each other or tabs with each other, right? For example, I can go on opportunities, and if I click on the Dickinson PLC, I get to my account tab. Or I could go ahead and say, yeah, does GenePoint, for example, or any of these records here have open job positions? So I can create a VLOOKUP and say, for example, if the hiring company name does match one of the account names, then show the open job position in here. And that's pretty much also what Salesforce is basically doing, right? So if we go now into Salesforce, you have here, for example, an account record. Let's use GenePoint. And you have here all the related lists, and these are actually linked objects. So for example, by default, contacts and opportunities is already linked by Salesforce. So I can see here, for example, Edna Frank is a contact and she belongs to GeneForce. Or we have here this opportunity, and that belongs to GeneForce. Or I created a custom object in Salesforce. I will show you how to do this in an upcoming video. And that custom object is called jobs. And it seems like that Geneforce is looking for a Salesforce expert, maybe you. And if I click on that, I get routed to my jobs object here. And I can see here the details of a job. Not much for now. I just created it, but I think you understand or get the point behind it. So how does this look like from an administrator perspective? If you click here on the steering wheel and you go to setup, you have here your object manager. And here you get and can see all objects of Salesforce. And for example, I can look for job. There it is. I can see by the API name job __c that it is a custom object. It also tells me here it is a custom object, but just by the API name you can see already it's custom. It's created. It's not something delivered by Salesforce out of the box. And if I click on it, and here on fields and relationships, I can see here there is a master detail relationship which is called hiring company. And if I click on that, and I can see this master detail relationship, which is called, or the field label is hiring company. It's part of a job object, and it's related to accounts. So you could now say, yeah, Thomas, but you know, that's good to know, but how do I get a complete overview about what's going on in Salesforce? How do I get all the connections? So there's a way, and that is called Schema Builder. So you can access Schema Builder when you're on your object manager. You have here this button in the upper right corner, which is called Schema Builder. Or then you're on your setup on the home tab and you type into quick find schema. You can access it from here. No matter where you click on, if you click on Schema Builder, this is what will happen. And here you can see all objects of Salesforce, including their relationships and how they are connected with each other. It looks horrible right now. And I will deep dive in an upcoming video into Schema Builder and explain you in details what you can do with Schema Builder, some considerations when you're using Schema Builder. And yeah, but if you open Schema Builder, this is the default view. It looks horrible, but you can filter and get really into details, and it's super helpful. So if I would start today in a new company and as an admin or consultant or architect developer whatsoever, I would, or probably one of the first things I would do is open up Schema Builder to get an overview about, okay, how is this Salesforce organization set up? How are the objects connected with each other? All right, so let's go back to my slide again. And so you now know Salesforce does organize data primarily in a relational database model with objects, fields, records, and relationships. But there's actually one more thing, and that's the metadata layer. So Salesforce metadata defines the schema, the data model, automation rules, page layouts, validation rules, pretty much everything. And that meta-driven architecture in Salesforce does make it so highly customizable. Without changing any underlying code or even database tables directly, right? You don't have to change your core code from Salesforce, which you, even if you could, should not do. Or you don't have to change database tables directly. You can do it by just the metadata layer. And so to summarize how the Salesforce data structure, or how to define Salesforce data structure, you could say Salesforce data structure is a meta-driven relational model. There you go. And that would be it for today. I hope this video helped you. I help you understand the Salesforce data structure. And if you like that video, give it a thumbs up somewhere here. If you like my channel, feel free to subscribe. It's completely demonetized. I'm just doing this here for free as a gift for you. I'm happy to share my knowledge. I'm happy to share insights from Salesforce. And yeah, I hope I see you next time within one of my upcoming videos. Thank you very much for your time. Goodbye.